So let's start with a couple of things that you can start to do immediately, because just like this weekend, you're going to be learning new things and you're going to be incorporating new habits. One of the single most important things you can do is try to get a consistent sleep schedule. I know this sounds crazy. Sure, you're gonna sleep enough. You're gonna have nights like last night, we were up a little bit late and then we're up this morning. It was a 5.5 hour sleep night. Well, that has repercussions in some ways. Over time, you're gonna find that more and more of those evenings have significant repercussions. You may think that you're okay, but I guarantee you, physiologically, you're not. Cognitively, you are not, and you're not at your best. But to do that, you've got to have a schedule. And I mean, you got to map it out, right? You've got to say, okay, I've got all these meetings this week. I'm going to have to drive from here. You know that you're going to have these schedules. I've got this special event and these things I need to do. But even if you've got to put it on your calendar, I've got to be in bed by X amount of time. Because if you don't do it, it won't happen. And sleep physiologically is the thing that allows you to reset. Without it, you actually damage yourself at a mitochondrial level. I don't want to get into all sorts of science and stuff, but that's what happens. And the repercussions it's not like you can just catch up on the weekend, you know, like you used to when you're a teenager. It doesn't work that way. It actually takes weeks, sometimes months. And for some people, depending on where your health baseline is right now, you may never recover from it because it can cause a significant amount of damage. It's interesting, I don't know if it was maybe in the 80s where it started to become this great thing, getting by on 3 or 4 hours of sleep a night, you know, something like that.
I don't need sleep.
It's not a superpower.
I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Yeah, yeah.
Remember that one?
You will. I mean, we never chide a baby that needs to sleep, or our grandkids or something. We see they're getting a little bit crabby and a little bit cranky, and what do? You put them down quick because they need to sleep. Well, we get the same way. So I encourage you, number one, start to look at your sleep schedule and actually make it a habit, just like a weekly meeting, just like planning speakers, whatever it is, but make it a consistent habit so that your base is strong.
Let's talk about food quick, and then I'm going to take you to presentation skills. Maybe 3 really good speaking tips that will help you mobilize the troops with the club. So we went through the buffet line this morning, just like you did. And it's interesting to me, the stuff they put out in the buffet. A lot of it is, if you think about how it goes, it's almost always even in the same order, right? The pastry and stuff comes first, and then there's fruit, I think this morning, and then there was potatoes, and then the eggs, and then the bacon. See, I think bacon should be first, but it was last. And then orange juice right before you go in, another chance to get this influx. And what I've learned from the redhead is that it's almost like the tobacco industry. You know, cigarettes aren't illegal; they just kill you. And 19% of our intelligent population still smoke cigarettes. And I think this often when I go through buffet lines, when I see the pastry or the orange juice. And I used to drink a glass of orange juice every day. So this isn't to villainize anybody's habits or anything. Rene always says, because people actually pay her for food advice, and they always go, can I eat this? Can I eat this? And Renee's stock answer, I hear it a million times on Zoom and stuff, she says, you can eat whatever you want. Zig Ziglar, the great motivational speaker, used to say, nothing ever goes in my mouth without my permission. Isn't that a great line? But when I went through that buffet line this morning, I made some choices about what was going to be on my plate and what wasn't. And Renee can tell you her advice on this, and you can ask questions, because this will set you back, because you were taught orange juice is good for you, or that it's no harm in having a muffin, but it turns out there might be.
Depending, right? So demonizing foods doesn't help, and when it gets into food, and it's a pretty big conversation. The easiest way to think about it is, how do you want to feel? And then work the problem backwards. That's really the way to do it. Food is function. All your body's trying to figure out when you put stuff in your mouth is, how do I utilize this? Does it serve me here, 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 and here? It's looking for energy, right? And it's a chemical breakdown process. That's all the body's trying to do. So from a strategic standpoint, I look at, we're going to be in meetings all day long. We're going to be sitting a lot. that becomes actually quite tiring on the body. And even out of boredom, we may want to eat things that we wouldn't normally eat just because they're there, because we're a little bored, because we get a little tired sitting around, things like that. But if we start to look at what do I need to fuel my body so that I can get through the day that I need to, number one, you need water. Lots and lots of water. I think we all know you need to be hydrated. I rarely personally start the day with sugar ever, and that means no juice, no fruit, because it starts to send the body on a roller coaster of insulin up and down, which is an energetic thing, right? So rarely carbs, sugar, or juice in the morning. And with regard to juice, I think there was a time when juice was really healthy. If you're squeezing your own juice, I think it's got some benefits. Outside of that, you may as well be drinking Coke for breakfast because it's got as much sugar in that thing of juice as a can of soda. So it does not serve you. In fact, it's going to make you crash. Eat a candy bar. If you're going to have if you're going to have juice, you may as well have a candy bar for breakfast. That's about how vital it is to your survival, and you're going to crash. As the day wears on, one of the things to think about, things that give you sustained energy are things that have some protein. Leafy green vegetables or some sort of vegetables are often very good, and some form of quality fat. Bacon. Some sort of quality fat is the thing that's actually going to carry you through versus, are there breadsticks? Is there muffins? Is there croutons on the salad? Then there's dessert on the table. And I'm not saying don't ever have those things, but it's an understanding of what's a balanced plate based on how you want to feel and what you want to get out of your day. The foods themselves aren't necessarily bad, depending on what's in them, but all these things in combination create a vicious cycle that's just going to keep you going like this. And you don't recover from that as easily as you'd like, honestly. And it does create some other damage.